get back home, for just a short break before they return for second term. And I want to think at this point there is no school that is conducting classes, at least per the Ministry of Education. So our children are back at home with us, the parents, the caretakers, and anybody and everybody who has a role to play rather in their well-being. But this morning, we want to look at how we can handle our children, especially in these moments, talking about things like their discipline, focusing our attention on things like their safety. Are our children safe, especially now that they are back at home? We saw what did happen over the COVID-19 period, and I want to believe personally that this period just highlighted some of the issues that the children have been going through even before COVID-19 befell us. Well, we'll be looking into the welfare, how we can ensure that their safety is at 100%. When it comes to raising our children, are we doing a good job? Are we doing our part as parents, as guardians, and anybody else who is involved in that circle? And this morning, I'm very lucky to have somebody I believe will be the best fit for this discussion to give us some of the guidances that we need to follow, and also give us some of the insights that we have looked over as parents, especially when it comes to affairs related to our children. Reverend Richard Rukundo, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Flomena, for welcoming me, and I'm so blessed to be here. It's a wonderful morning, and I'm glad to be back on UBC. What a joy to know that there are many people who are watching us, and especially when we have our children.
Yes.
For us in the church, we call children blessings from the Lord.
Indeed.
So don't be out there as a parent complaining about your children. They are blessings, they are gifts from the Lord. Love them, smile at them every morning, give them those hugs that you can. They are our children, and God is giving them to us as blessings.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Now, Reverend Richard here is the Provincial Youth and Children's Coordinator of Church of Uganda. Now, of course, by the nature of this kind of position, I really want to believe you have interacted with children, you have interacted with parents, and anybody and everybody in that circle. And that's why I do believe that we'll be having quite a very good discussion this morning, and I do encourage you, our wonderful viewers, to be part of it. Make use of all our social media platforms. On Twitter, follow the hashtag UBCGMU, and you can always submit your thoughts, your opinions, and your 2 cents. But also our WhatsApp platform is open for you, 0709 602 592. Looking at parenting, discipline, and safety of our learners, especially now that they are back at home. But getting straight into the discussion, Reverend, when you look at our children recently, even before we get into what has changed, and what do you think are some of the greatest challenges that they're standing in this year 2023, putting in in context at the times, how they've changed, how different things are affecting them, technology, work, parenting styles? What do you think are the biggest challenges our children are facing?
Thank you very much, Flomena, for that wonderful intro. And I think it's sad to start on this bad side, but
yes,
that's the reality of it.
Yes.
I hope everybody heard the halabaloo about the homosexuality. That's actually a big deal, because I think there's a lot of diversion from the cultural, from the norms, from the way we're supposed to be. And as I listen to what is happening to us in these times, I think there's a lot of concern that there are lots of new innovations, new things coming out, and they're beginning from home, they're beginning from school, and we as parents are getting overtaken. Lots of social media things, the children have phones, there's a lot of diversion from the things we thought were normal, were okay. Now the children look at them like they're not normal, they're not okay, and then they're beginning to do things. So I think the first challenge that we have as parents is to appreciate that the times we grew in is not the times our children are growing in. And so they're having to look at the worlds that we actually grew in. We didn't have social media, we didn't have phones, we didn't have internet. And then the schools have also changed. There's a lot of crowding now. There's a lot of maybe not caring for each other. There's a lot, I keep telling sometimes I go to schools and I get surprised that everybody has a chat which has a name branded on and everything, but they still will tell you that many of them have come home and they don't have there are things, and my things are lost, and everything is. Those are kind of things. We went to school and we had one shirt, and you would come back with it. So you have realized that, you know, even when this is happening, lots of things are new, are happening differently. Schools are charging more, they're taking more time. And I think for me, the reality is to appreciate that we have changed. Many things are changing. The global world is here. How do we appreciate that as parents, we have to be learning every other day? Because the truth about it is that we don't have a school where we actually go and get trained into new models and new ways and new things. We learn on job. And so that's what I keep telling parents, that we are learning on job. So the things that are coming to us every other day are things that we have to learn, and we have to appreciate, and we have to know how to go through them. For example, I know I have had a discussion with parents about how our children should have phones. And many parents are still not very sure whether their children should have a phone. But I'm saying, look, you need to actually help them to know that whether they will get at a university or secondary school level or primary level, they need to know how to be able to use that phone in a way that they can actually guide themselves from addiction, even for the phone. So I think for me, the interest part is that there are lots of challenges, they will continue to happen. But the encouragement I want to give to you as a parent is to know that you can be deliberate about what you do with your children. And start now. Start now. Because there's always no time for us to say, when they grow, when I talk to them, when they get to this level. Start where you are now. Be intentional, be deliberate. Try and see that you build a relationship with the children now. Because you can't wait for later. And we can't even know what will surprise us later. We didn't have any of these things when we were growing up. Not even 10, 15 years, some of them. They have come. How are we going to handle them? So I want to believe that there are many challenges, there are many new innovations, but we as parents must be deliberate, must be intentional, must use the time now. The children are back from school, they're in your hands. You have a job, yes, but you also have a family to look after. You have a pork joint to attend, or whatever function you have to do a meeting. You also have children now at home.
You have a family that is relying on you. Too, yes. But also, Reverend, we cannot do away with the fact that there's lots of changes, especially when it comes to morals. We are seeing a lot of things coming out, a lot of drug usage amongst the young people. We're looking at, I mean, you just talked about homosexuality, which again is, we discovered that it was bigger than we already thought, and very many other unexplainable behavior. But now the discussion around here, or the questions would be, is there a possibility that we can attach this blame to somebody, or is this a shared blame? Is it a problem of the parents? Is it a problem of the environment in which we raise our children? Is it a problem of the schools where our children, I want to believe at least most of them spend most of the time? Is it a problem of our leaders? And in all aspects, you know, the leaders could be coming in from culture leaders, it could be coming in from religious leaders, it could be coming in even from our political leaders. Where do we attach this blame? Because I want to believe that the moment we understand or we figure out where the problem started from, that could be the beginning of finding a solution. So in your opinion, where do you think this is coming from?
Okay, thank you very much. That's a good one. I want to come from the point of the psychologist that I am as well.
Yes.
That I think we can't blame anyone. We must know that this is a nurture and nature. We have two words, we don't want to say nurture and nature. And I think when we talk about nurture is growing up, being maintained the environment we're in, but also the nature that we're living on.
Yes.
The kind of environment we live. So both have an effect on us, the nature and the nurture. The children are growing up in an environment, first of all, where the parents are busy, and also we must appreciate that there's a lot of new innovations. We have to work, we have to look for things to be. Unlike the parents where we grew and we had, maybe they would spend more time with us in the garden and they go with us to graze or whatever, lives have changed. But also the children are growing in a stressed world. If you see the stress of the mothers, the stress of the fathers, everybody says I'm stressed. Somehow there's some kind of environment that causes, even in the homes themselves where we're living. So I want to believe that in the homes we have also lost some bit of appreciation of family, togetherness, family as a core part of where we start from. Good and positive parenting.
Yes.
Positive parenting is the parents sitting down with us and talking to us, giving us time to listen to us, what it is, even helping us to go through the challenges of life. Because as young people, there are challenges of life. Every day we go through challenges. We have friends who are behaving differently. We have men and women and everything coming, hitting on us. Who do we talk to? And I can appreciate that that kind of growing up has an impact yet on our lives, even as we grow as young people. Oftentimes there's no one to listen to, and I've had many young people say, we can't talk to anyone. My parents are busy, I don't have anyone to talk to, and that's a big challenge. Are we having time to listen to our children, to appreciate their challenges, to mentor them, not condemn them, not judge them all the time? You are wrong, you are doing this, you're children of these days, because many times that's what we do. We blame them, we judge them, we pass every other time, we even want to beat them up and maybe give a couple of punishments, and that's something I want to discourage, that we need to give our children more nature, but also the environment we're growing on. At home, is TV the only thing that we are doing actually? Is social media the only thing that we actually are encouraging? Are we there to actually say, it's social media, it's TV, there is a life?
Yes.
Are we leaving them to go to their friends? We don't even know their friends. These house parties, birthday parties, there are many of these things happening every other time. And I think parents need to be bothered that if your children are going out for house party every day, they are in a school you don't even know where their friends are.
Forgive me to cut you short, but if you remember back in the day, your parents would actually know who your friends are.
Exactly.
Deep down to the point that they know the families from which these children come.
I agree with you.
Yes, at this point, your child is going to have multiple friends. They're always in touch on WhatsApp, Twitter, and everywhere. But you do not know any of these, but my child has lots and lots of friends.
And you know what, actually, apart from friends, the things they do these days, which we didn't do. But you can even see that in the schools, the shows have become so big a thing that I have to pairing. Yes. I remember we had shows, but I don't remember it was such a big thing.
There was nothing like that.
But these days, even the school sosh or livers has become so much a big thing that even that is so big. The child needs to dress in a way, so the friends that they have, and actually these parties that they have, birthday party, house party, so-and-so's party, and I think that's a big challenge. So the environment as well. So yes, there are lots of things to be able, and our culture as well. Which culture are we growing to? We have a Nyankore growing in Kampala. Is that our culture? Maybe not. We come from wherever, and we are now in this culture. So the multiple cultures that we are part of are also influencing us differently. We can't say we are behaving as we should behave in our culture.
Yes.
If you are told maybe you need to be humble, where you're growing from, no one in the neighborhood is that humble. You all are doing things the way you see. So I think that the environment has a say, the nature of where we are coming from has a say, but we need to be intentional. I want to go back to the words of being intentional and deliberate. We can't blame the community, we can't blame even ourselves by as parents. And I keep telling parents that we don't have a school where we go and learn parenting. Don't blame yourself. I think the first thing is to appreciate that I'm in this together. We are together as a partner, we got a child, we need to grow these children together and be intentional about it. I was sharing, I think, the example with myself. As a parent, I have learned that, for example, children learn more by what they do, see us do, than what we tell them to do. So if I'm a father of boys, for example, and I'm not cleaning at home, I'm not doing laundry at home, I'm not doing even dishes, and they don't see me doing anything, even cooking, then they want to do what I do, I sit and watch.
Here on Good Morning Uganda, we call it monkey see, monkey do.
Monkey do. And I tell you, even these teenagers want to know that actually you do it. If your phone at some point are off and that's fine. If you come and sit down and play a guitar like I do and listen to TV or watch football with them, that's very helpful. So what are the things that actually we even do? Spend time together. Because when they see you do them, and you're growing interest in them, they're learning from you. You're their mentor, you're their friend, you're their teacher, and home parents, I want to encourage us that before we go to the parents, the children, the teachers at school.
At school, yes.
Let's begin with knowing that we are the best teachers, we're the best influencers, and we're the best of what we would want our children to be. So what are we doing? If you love football, let them love football with you. If you love to sing, please let them. If you go to church and fellowship, let them be part of that. Then you're nurturing them into the things you do, because as they see you doing them, you're growing them into appreciating. That's actually a life that is lived. So I have parents who do one thing, and then the children are in another different thing.
They say totally different things, but when it comes to action, you're seeing completely different
lifestyles.
Yes. And I think it confuses a child, because now my father, my mother is talking about this and also doing this. Which is which? What path do I take?
Yeah. So I believe that we need to be intentional on even mentoring them, nurturing them into what we want to be. And I want to go back, as I'm a teacher as well, a professional secondary school teacher. But I always say that school is not supposed to actually nurture us into everything that we are. The holistic learning that should happen actually is both complemented by the home and the school. So that's why sometimes the blame game of parents saying it's school which are not doing the best. I'm like, are you sure school is supposed to do everything? In school we learn more about the knowledge of books and how we do things, but actually at home, the application of that knowledge that we learn at school should happen more at home. And I like the new curriculum now, especially the second curriculum. It is beginning to appreciate that we actually have a part to play in nurturing children to actually do things, grow crops, learn to graze cows, learn to start some businesses. I want to believe that you as parents at home are actually teaching your children the life skills that they need more than actually the school knowledge that they will be able to use anywhere. We all learn chemistry, biology, physics. We are not able to say maybe we use it as much as we use the knowledge that we learned at home. So learning is not necessarily even at school. I want to encourage parents to know that even at home, there's a lot of learning that should happen. And if you're not intentional, deliberate about it, these children are going to miss out on even learning the things that they will need for life at home. So even as you're saying that we should, in Ministry of Education, I like the rule that children are not supposed to be at school in holiday. The reason is that they should be home and learn.
There is time demarcated for every group of people. There is a time as a child you're supposed to be with your parent. There is a time as a child you're supposed to be interacting with your teachers. I agree with you. So if parents think that the only place children should be is at school, they call it, let's go, they're not school to. I'm like, do you think school actually is everything that they need? No, they need to be home. They need to learn skills from home. The things that actually they will need in life will be learned more at home than even in classroom. So as you send your child to school, even in the holiday, be careful to know that is that really the best place they should be? Are you looking for options of where they should be busy? I'm saying, have you actually been deliberate to teach them the things that they should learn? If you have a shop, take them to your shop. If you have a business, let them learn how to do the business with you. If you have a garden, you have a farm, let them do. That's very important in the learning process of the young people. Well, we're looking at parenting discipline and safety of learners at home. And of course, I have Reverend Rukondo here taking me through some of these things. Now, the other day, Reverend, we're looking at how some of these behaviors manifest in children, but also in adults. And we're having a conversation about how, because when you look at the age group right now, people being employed, the young people, there is one of a colleague who said they're so unemployable. Why? Because they lack certain skills that they would have ideally picked from actually home, not even from school. When we talk about discipline, when we talk about things like time management, things like, because discipline is a big word that really encompasses very many things. Now, I'd love for you to, throw more light on that. How do some of these behaviors manifest in the young people or in the young adults that we see right now? Because we want to believe all these stats from childhood. How do they manifest in these young people or young adults?
Thank you so much, Florina. That's a good one. I want to agree that parents, sometimes we make mistakes in the discipline that we do. And many of us, I think the challenge of differentiating between discipline and punishment. Are you doing punishment or are you doing discipline? Many of us as parents want to say, you've done wrong, I've taken away the phone. You've done this, I'll spank you. And even in schools, by the way, punishment's a big thing. Discipline is a process. It's not something that happens one time. You do it continuously, you do it intentionally, you do it with the time, and you're helping. So when you talk about the word discipline, in the real sense of us parenting, when we do parenting and talk about discipline, it's a process of nurturing someone to the things that you'd like them to know. Now, look at ourselves as parents. Oftentimes we know where we come from. Maybe as parents used to spank us. When you made a mistake, caned. And there are still parents actually who believe that the best way to nurture their children is spank them. So you've made a mistake, like now they have come from school. Many of them have behaviors you don't like. You will get a cane all the time. But are you really helping to discipline these children? Are they learning the values and virtues of behavior? If they see the only thing that you do is you're tough. I know one of the parents, I had a child who they would go, because they didn't want them to watch TV, they would actually lock the TV remote in their bedroom. And this boy went and broke the looked for the what? Broke the bedroom.
Yes.
They would look.
The doorknob and got access.
I think he stole the key of the father, went and made a copy, and when the father would go, he would come and open the bedroom of the father, go and get the remote. Yes. They watch. When the father is about to come, he takes it back to and keeps it. Now father is thinking, I'm doing discipline by these are human beings.
Yes.
As you discipline them, know that they are creative. They are going to actually go around it. They will go to learn through. Behavior change is a process that we need to do, starting from home, even at school, even the friends that they have, everybody that is around them. And they even us by itself, by the way we do. If father, you're coming home and you're rude and you're rough and the way you talk is, you're actually mentoring behavior that they need to go. That's why they'll be talking roughly to their mate as well.
Yes.
Some children, because they see you, mommy, speak the maid roughly.
Yes.
When you leave, they also shout at the maid. That's the behavior they've seen. So home is shouting, is quarreling with the security, quarreling with. That modeling of that behavior is not going to cause us to have good discipline. Good discipline is a process that we all work to, that we appreciate that, when this child, they sit them down and say, well, do they even appreciate that they have done this wrong? Especially young people need to appreciate that this has been wrong. What we have done is not right, and they know it, and they are ready to change. So I want to encourage us as parents to appreciate that discipline is not a one-off incident that you have punished.
Yes.
Now it has come to happen. It's a process that you need to do.
It's continuous.
Deliberately, intentionally work at these children's lives, talk to them, encourage them, walk out with them. And by the way, we do discipline in anger. When you're doing discipline in anger, it's very bad because he has done, he's ashamed of me. How can you do this? So you're doing it in, discipline should not be done in anger. And you need to be calm. You need to know that when the child gets away from by the way, some of us as adults did them as well. We are not angels ourselves. We still do mistakes. How do we get disciplined? So I want to encourage you as parents, as adults, to actually know that these young people will make mistakes. Their behavior will be sometimes what you do not like. But how do you calm down and remember that you are a parent who's supposed to nurture, who's supposed to be a parent in a process of helping these young people to know that there is something right, there's something wrong, and appreciate it. And you talk about it deliberately. You talk about it in every day. Say, by the way, for example, I know I'm growing boys. One of the challenges I have in my house is laying beds.
Yes.
Boys laying their bed is a big challenge. But we keep talking about
Isn't it a challenge almost
of course, everywhere.
Yes.
And I've been telling them, please, when I wake up, I learn that we lay our bed.
Yes.
Do they lay their bed? They don't lay their bed. So I've been telling them, look, even when I wake up, what I do is that when I divide the bed, I say, you guys don't, I will pull the things off and put them here. I say, you don't want to lay your bed. But sometimes they do. We haven't been fighting. We talk about it, Daddy, but why? I said, yes, a person who is important must learn to start with their bed where they wake up. Don't wait for someone to lay your bed. Lay your bed yourself. That's what I believe. Now, they are young people, they're teenagers, they're growing, they think, laying our bed, they wake up, they are running to do things. And I believe that laying your bed is very important. So, are there things that are going to be happening at home that you don't like? Yes, very many. They will do things. Their personalities are different from our personalities. They are maybe too talkative, too aggressive, too whatever. But that behavior must be nurtured in a way that you understand them, you walk with them in that journey. They are not you. They have a life to live. They have a life different from yours. And what is that you can actually help them in their growing up to appreciate that this is right, this is wrong. Because the truth is, what is right, yes. And what is wrong.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, there is feedback coming in here from our viewers. Husna talking about we need to do better as parents to ensure the safety of the next generation. Reverend Richard, Reverend Benjamin, here is from the Diocese of East
Rwenzori. Yeah, I know him. Yes,
he's saying, thank you so much for the great sharing. Parents need to be fast friends to their children as they keep a close eye on their discipline. Now, more to these, parents ought to be good role models and also allow their children to explore their talents as they guide them to develop. Thank you so much for watching, Reverend Benjamin. Speaking of talent, how best can we use a talent? Because I feel like in there somewhere we have lost it. We do not know when to, we don't know how to guide the children. We don't know what we should do while we are guiding the children. And I have interacted with a couple of parents, and they will tell you, I think this child is talented at this, but I don't know how to support them. I also don't know whether I should put a cap on the support. How best do we use a talent to actually encourage these children, to help them grow in the talent, but also on the right path, really?
I have a good story of myself. I'm a father of boys, and my sons, Joel, had now able to play instruments. I grew up playing instruments because my father could play instruments. So my father taught me how to play instruments. I was being able to teach my children. One is to say, deliberately at home, I knew that we had to have instrument. Because if I learned because my father would have a guitar at home and would play guitar.
Yes.
So it was easy for me to learn to play a guitar. Now, I've had to make sure that I have a guitar, I have a keyboard at house, because I knew that we play them and we want our children to learn them. By 7 years old, my son Joel would play a keyboard perfectly well for his class. Now, I think that's something that you can do as a parent. If you want your children to learn something, first of all, you start at home.
Yes.
I personally don't believe in this thing of take the child to music school, take your child to... What is it that you've done at home? Because, for example, if it's an instrument, even if it's football, are they even able to have a ball at home? and play that ball? Are they able to learn? These talents are grown naturally at home first. By the way, even if you don't play football, it's not impossible for you to buy a ball and have the children play the ball with their friends at the neighborhood, even in the compound where you are. So I think talent development is not necessarily, and I think now we have a distinct tendency of specialized talent. We take them to academy, take them to wherever. But before they go to academy, yes, if you can afford academy, fine. But I believe that even at home, talent development can actually happen. So if you're a parent there, and you're in the village or whatever, and you see the children with a talent, put interest in that talent as well. Your interest is very important in it. Some parents, I think certain talents are not worth trying out. The child is into fashion. I've met children, young teenagers in university, and the child is telling you, I'm doing law, but I am interested in being a fashionist. She's a lawyer who's because she said, my parents want me to do law, but for me, I want to be a designer. So if you see that her interest is in design, what are you doing to help her, even at home? See that in her room, she's able to learn. Because these days, everything can be got. You can actually get many things. You can get a sewing machine at home, and this child will learn how tailoring is. Even when they go to do tailoring at somewhere, they'll come at home and find a machine and learn. I've seen younger girls who are able to do tailoring things at home. Bakery, they can go and learn, but even at home, is there something that you put at? Because I want to believe that the home is the best environment to start with. Much as they go to learn in baking school or whatever, they should come at home and find interest that you have actually put in, and encouraging them. So yes, some of us as parents have the same talents with the children, or we've actually seen and then, but the first interest is actually to say, are you interested? Are you investing in that talent, that it can grow and nurture, that when he finds people out there, he's able to actually join them. I don't want to believe that it should be commercialized, that if I don't have money to take you to academy, I don't have money to take you to baking school or whatever, then I can't develop your talent. I think the children can actually learn talents at home as well. So if you're a parent and you have children, you can start at home, nurture their talent, show interest in that talent, read about it. And these days, internet has everything. You can search about it, give them some reading to do, some books that they can read about the talent, about what they are interested in. I can tell you there are many things we can do as parents, even within our world at home, without even going very far. So first of all, I think as parents, have interest in the children's interest and know that they have a talent and try and nurture it.
Well, Geoffrey Chiganda here is saying, first of all, I want to believe and I really want to vouch for the fact that we need to ensure that we make children know their God. And also, we should keep them active, let them participate in home chores and anything else other than moving around the villages. Yes. True. Well, I have Jemima here from Uganda talking about some parents who leave the responsibility of disciplining to one parent, and children find it hard to communicate to them. And she says this is something we need to look out for and make sure that we do that in the right way. There is another reverend, this is Reverend Kuruka Amtuhide from the Diocese of Northwest Ankole, talking about, thank you so much, Reverend Rukundo, about talent development. It's great to encourage and support the children, but I also think it's a matter, it's a matter of having us to work with them on this journey of their talent development. And I also request parents not to force their children for a particular talent. What is important is the interest of the child and supporting it, basically echoing what you have been talking about. Well, as we're coming closer to the end of this, Reverend Rukundo, I would love for you to take us through some of the things you think we should do, because at the end of the day, we want to have a well-disciplined population, because these young children are the people that eventually get to grow into the leaders we have in all these different institutions. So how do we contribute to ensure that their safety is guaranteed, the discipline is on the right track? I mean, there are challenges here and there, but at least for the biggest percentage. And I would love for you to highlight some of the roles you believe the church should do or should be taking on, some of the roles that the parents should be taking on, and the roles of our environments and societies and even culture leaders, what they can contribute for us to have a decent generation.
Yes, I want to thank you very much, and I thank those who have been watching us and are responding, my brothers, the reverends from the dioceses, some of those we work together closely with the youth and children's programs. I know that there is a lot we can do as a church, as family, as parents, as community as well. But I want to just say the 5 things I usually say. One, I say, accept the young people as they are. Accept them as they are. I think the tendency to want to make them who we are or what they are not is very important. Accept them as they are. They are making mistakes, they are learning, they are not perfect. Accept them as they are, and that acceptance will help you to change the way you see them. If you see them as burdens, as problems, as when they're going back to school, then you're going to be complaining all the holiday instead of loving them, instead of accepting them. Accept they're not perfect, they're not angels, they're not going to do everything perfectly the way you want it, but they're also beautiful. They also can do things well. Love them, accept them as they are. Listen to what they have to tell you. Listen. Many of our parents are busy. Many adults don't have time. We think we're the ones who know it. We should tell you, do this. I tell you and you listen. Young people have a mind of their own. They have ideas they would like to share with you. Daddy, mommy, parent, listen to these young people. Listen, listen. And I keep telling adults, we need to listen to young people. They have a mind of their own. They want to tell you something. Listen. Sit down and say, what do you want to tell me? What was school like? Listen, ask questions, let them listen. Tell them that you love them. Let them be your friends.
Yes.
Many of us as parents think telling them I love you, I will spoil them. But I want to encourage you as parents. It's Christian, it's godly for you to tell them I love them. After all, even when you tell adults that you love them, they feel good, don't they?
I mean, we do.
Tell them you love them.
Absolutely.
Every morning. What is that you tell them? That to know that they're your friends. You can listen, my daughter, I love you. My son, I love you. Despite everything, I love you. When the children know that you love them, they will respond to you in a different way. You tell them that you love them. You tell them that you're their friend. The other one is teach them responsibility. I don't think that many parents know that responsibility is learned at home. They think it's at school, it's by neighbors.
Yes.
Responsibility, the things that values, these the morals that we are talking about. That's part of the responsibility. You taught them to even lay their bed, wash the dishes, clean the compound. It's not the work of the maid. It's not the work of the shamba boy. Responsibility is learned at home. Teach them responsibility, and help them to resolve conflicts among themselves. They will conflict, they will quarrel, they will talk, they will not. When they disagree, how do they resolve their conflicts? And lastly, I say, support their learning and accept their good values. Learning is not just at school, like I've said. It's also at home. Support them as a parent. Know what they are doing at school. What are they doing very well? How are they going to become better? If the child says, I'm doing very well economics, I'm doing very well chemistry, what do you want to be in the future? So how are the things? Take them to learn, to see even what engineers do, what doctors do.
Yes.
Let them appreciate that you are support their learning. Otherwise, some parents just want marks. You got 80, you got 90. But is that all they need to know? Support their learning and help them to know that this learning is about values, is about being useful in the future. And I want to believe, one, the church has I think let's start with government. Government has an interest in the children. And I always tell parents that, if even when you beat your child, and that's why I appreciate the law of the Children Act, which says that even corporal punishment are punishable. Because if you're a parent who's beating these children and wanting to kill them, the police will come for you.
Absolutely.
And why is that? Because the government has a stake in the lives of the children. And I want to think government needs, I happen now they're giving them NIN numbers, they're helping them to appreciate. I think government has a part to do. And so community leaders, these, and I know in the villages we have probation officers, whatever, all these are very important in the lives of children. That children should be well kept, should have a place they should go, the police, the safety of the children is very important. And government is very important in that. Two, we as community, when you see the neighbor's child being treated badly, when these children are being left without food, what is your role as a community? Do you say, they are killing their children? Me, I have nothing to do. As a parent, as a community, you have a part to play. You have a part as a community. So community leaders, cultural leaders, let us see bad things and talk about them. Let's not wait for the story to come out and say, by the way, we were seeing it. This child was about to be beaten, was killed. We have seen children being stripped from cars and taken wherever. Children who are malnourished, who are being done different things. It's a part of a community to respond. Say, this child is not safe. This child, the way they're being treated is not good. And it's happening in the holiday. The children are here. Let us all look out for the children's safety, children's lives. Because as a community, we have a part to do. And in Africa, we say the children are raised by the community, by everybody. The other part that we do is as church to nurture their spiritual lives. I know that sometimes the church is not just at the center where we pray from. Church is every day in our lives. When we pray, when we seek God, let me tell you, God is our maker. God is our creator. God loves us. Even when your parents have not told you I love you, God loves you out there. You need to know the love of God. And so church is very important because it continues to remind you about your maker, about your value in life, about why you live in this, the purpose for you to be in this world. When no one has told you your purpose in life, God knows your purpose. God has put you in this world for a reason. So be purposeful, be hopeful, trust God. Pray all the time, believe God, and the church needs to keep reminding that to us. And I want to believe the last ones are the parents, because parents are with us, they're the ones who gave birth to us. Please, at home, be there for us, be the role models that you should be. Adults, I know sometimes it's not the parents, it's the caregivers, it's the maids, even the maid who's at home. Be a good role model of these children. Love them, appreciate them, encourage them. So every adult who's young with young people, the children, do you love them? Do you appreciate them? Do you nurture them? Are you intentional? And I keep using those words over and over.
Yes.
Intentional and deliberate. There's nothing that will happen by accident. You have to be deliberate. When you wake up in the morning, what are those things you're going to do with them? What is going to be happening? Even as a parent, as you leave home, going to work, leave some guidelines. What are you going to do at home today? What is your responsibility? Who's going to do what? That's very important at home. So we all have a part to play. The government, the church, the community, in keeping the children safe, in loving them, in nurturing them into what we want them to be.
Well,
thank you.
Thank you so much. Keywords here being intentional and deliberate parenting from all sides, not just the parents, but even you, the community members. Reverend Richard Rukundo, thank you so much for stopping by.
Welcome.
We'll continue preaching the gospel where you're not, here on UBC TV. Well, Reverend Richard, again, is the Provincial Youth and Children's Coordinator at Church of Uganda. Well, we'll leave it at that, but there is a lot that we are expected to do as parents, as aunties, as uncles, as leaders in all our different capacities. Please make sure you do your job deliberately and intentionally, especially in terms of raising children. We need a healthy, productive and disciplined generation for this country. Well, Ruben, coming up next with more in sports, giving you the highlights and the updates. Later on, the GMU Extra will be coming in with more extra gist and information for you. I will see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful and productive Tuesday. I am Philomena Masco. Good morning.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
This is our family's pride.
This is my friend.
This is the future of our nation.
She is the future of Uganda, and the policies I enact today will protect her from teenage pregnancy.
She is the hope of our community, and I will talk to others about how we must protect her.
She is our family's pride, and I will protect her from child marriage and talk to her about the dangers of teenage pregnancy. We each have a role to play in empowering our teenage girls to protect them from child marriage and pregnancy, because when we empower them, we empower our nation. Protect the girl, save the nation.
Their support meant so much to me. I stayed focused and was protected from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. I will support other girls against child marriage and teenage pregnancy.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sawuti 116.